This video is being brought to you by Cutting Edge Gamer. If you upgrade graphics cards often, Cutting Edge Gamer is the perfect option for you. Lease the newest graphics cards on the market, such as Nvidia's RTX 20 series, for a low monthly payment. Click the affiliate link below in the description to find out more. So if the PlayStation 5 is 8K capable, meaning not that it could just upscale to 8K and it could actually output some games in 8K resolution, I'll crap myself. I'll literally have to change my pants. I'm sorry for the visual, but it's true. So if the PlayStation 5 is 8K capable, meaning not that it could just upscale to 8K and it could actually output some games in 8K resolution, I'll crap myself. I'll literally have to change my pants. I'm sorry for the visual, but it's true. Skip it up and that up. So recently, Sony was at the Tokyo Be conference, yes, BEE, like the buzzing bee, which stands for the International Business Equipment Exhibition, and they were there showing off their 440-inch TV that's based on Crystal LED display system. No, that wasn't a typo, 440 inches. This TV is capable of outputting 8K resolution at 120 frames per second or 120 hertz, and you can't afford it. No, I think Bill Gates may have trouble forking over the amount of cash for a TV of this caliber. Well, anyway, why am I talking about this 8K TV that none of us can afford? And why am I talking about this Tokyo Be conference? Well, Sony actually showed off some Gran Turismo footage running at native 8K, 120 FPS or 120 hertz. And it was mind-blowing. This is footage from off the screen, so it's not going to look as pretty as it did at the actual conference, but it's short. Take a look. Now, Polyphony Digital CEO Kanzunori Yamauchi was actually at this conference, and he discussed the demo that they were showing on this absolutely amazing screen, and this is what he had to say. It takes 6 months to create a single car, which is unreal. It's over spec for PS4 Pro, so we are building for future versions of the console rather than the one we see today. I think it would be no problem to run it at 8K even. Now, if that's a hint that the PlayStation 5 will be able to render games at 8K resolution, that's pretty damn amazing. 8K resolution is 7,680 by 4,320 pixels, and that's twice as many horizontal and twice as many vertical pixels as 4K. So that's a pretty insane amount of pixels that the PlayStation 5 might be able to push. Again, that's still a tall order, man, for even a next-gen system to be able to render games at 8K resolution. Now, before you think that 8K is a pipeline dream, which even though I consciously realize that it isn't, but subconsciously to me, it's like, are you serious? 4K TVs just finally somewhat went mainstream. They've been affordable for a while. Okay, you could afford a 4K TV back in even like 2014, or even 2013, let's say. But I just feel like 4K is now like this Black Friday and the past Black Friday has just become affordable. But anyway, 8K is a thing in Japan now. In Japan, as of December 1st, TV stations over there via satellite have started broadcasting of both 4K and 8K. So if you're one of the one people over in Japan that has an 8K TV and you have the satellite service over there, you can watch 8K TV shows. It's already here. It's already a thing. I mean, it's not affordable yet, but the technology's there in place. They're broadcasting in Japan in 8K, so I'm sure in a few years it's going to be affordable to buy an 8K TV. It is. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure when the PS5 and next Xbox come out, you're going to see 8K TVs with HDR10 and Dolby Vision, probably for a somewhat affordable price. I mean, it'll still probably be a couple $1,000, but you won't have to take out a home equity loan to get an 8K TV. So it isn't out of the realm of thinking that the PS5 can do 8K, can render probably like racing games and sports games in 8K. But here's why I still think, as much as I'm going to contradict myself right now, that it's not going to happen. And I don't think that 8K is going to be a thing, at least with the first PlayStation 5. Who knows, we may see a PlayStation 5 Pro a couple years down the road if Sony follows the same business model as the PlayStation 4. What everyone has to realize is, and sometimes I subconsciously forget, is when a next-gen system comes out, it's been in R&D for years. Sony's probably been working on the PS5 since maybe even before the PS4 launched, or at least I would say for like 2 or 3 years now. And when they make a console, when they develop a console, because they have to work with the tech that they could get their hands on at the time, you may not get the freshest, newest hardware out there. For example, there's been many very educated rumors, and I believe they're more than rumors, it's a fact, that the PlayStation 5, and I'm pretty sure the next Xbox, the CPU is going to be based on first generation Ryzen technology, which is fine, but by the time the PS5 actually comes out and comes to fruition and we can pick it up in stores, I believe it'll be on the third or fourth generation of Ryzen processors. So again, because the technology, what they have available to them is what they have at the time, by the time a system comes out, it's already dated, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's all they can do. That's all that they're capable of doing. That's all they have to work with. They can't work with future technology that doesn't exist yet. So more than likely, the PS5 is going to have AMD's Navi technology in there, and it might be able to do 8K output in 8K, and maybe some games will be able to run in 8K. But if you think that every game you're going to get on the PlayStation 5 is going to be an 8K experience, no. The system would be too expensive. Even a couple years from now, you'd have to spend $700, $800 to have the PlayStation 5 be a truly 8K experience. I can't believe we're even talking about this, and I would even place bets that it may not do 8K at all. It may just be a 4K gaming beast, and all the games that come out AAA will be able to run in 4K, whether it be at 30 or 60 FPS, or maybe they'll even do higher. Maybe they'll have where you can hook it up to a computer monitor and run the PS5 at 120 hertz, 144 hertz. But in terms of 8K being mainstream on the PlayStation 5, at least with the first model that's launched, I think that's a pricey, tall order, and I don't think we're going to see it. However, they may come out with a PS5 Pro, like I said earlier in this video, and then you will see 8K be a thing. However, I'm not saying it's completely out of the question. I'm assuming that 8K won't be something the PS5 will be capable of at launch, but maybe Sony, and I'm kind of contradicting myself and being a devil's advocate here, maybe Sony doesn't want to repeat the mistakes that they made with the PS4 and Microsoft with the Xbox One, where they came out very underpowered from the get-go. Let's keep it real. The PS4 and Xbox One could barely do 1080p. Okay, you had Battlefield 4 running at 900p. You had Call of Duty Ghosts, which ran at 1080p on the PS4, but was only running at 720p on the Xbox One. And there's countless other examples that you could go through where games on both systems, they ran either at 900p, and Sony sometimes the base PS4 could reach 1080p and the Xbox One would be 900p. But those are numbers like 1080p when this generation of consoles launched should have just been a given across the board on every game. No games running at 900p or below. And they did. They were running, especially on the Xbox One, some games went down as low as, like I said, 720p. And that's why I think we saw the mid-generation refreshes like the Xbox One X, which is a fantastic system, and the PS4 Pro, which is just, I don't know. I feel like they could have made it more powerful. But that's why we saw those systems. Because imagine now, this deep into this generation, if we were still just dealing with the PS4 and Xbox One base systems with no upgrades. Every game would look and run disastrous, or they would be very disappointing. We would have already had to start the next generation by this point, because the 8th gen hardware, when it first launched, came out so far behind tech-wise than everything else out there, whether it be gaming PCs. And back then, like I said, in 2013, you could get a fairly affordable 4K TV, and you have these consoles that are still barely doing 1080p. And those are numbers, like I've said in other videos, 1080p and 720p were numbers that were resolutions that Sony and Microsoft were bragging about with the PS3 and Xbox 360. Why were we still barely reaching those resolutions with the next consoles, the 8th gen consoles? It just kind of made no sense. So maybe Sony is really going to pump up the hardware so they don't repeat those mistakes with the PlayStation 5. But I'm contradicting myself here. That would be even a couple of years from now, if the PS5 comes out in 2020, it's going to cost like $700 to make that happen. And I just think that's too costly. So I think the PS5 will just be a 4K gaming beast, so they could keep the price around $500. So there's my predictions. Maybe I'll be dead on. Maybe I'll be totally wrong. In a couple of years, we could look back and see how accurate I was. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Hey, congratulations! If you made it to the end of the video, you should subscribe to Review Tech USA so you can hear me blabber on some more. Also, too, starting this month, I will be live streaming solely on Twitch. I'll have a link to my Twitch channel below in the description. And last but not least, make sure you click that like button. It helps out the show big time. See you guys in the next video.